Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with some of the colleagues here.
Dave.
Nate.
And today we're going to bring you a player's tip, encouraging new players. This is a viewer request from Bob Smith. He's a DM he's running a game for his players. He says that they're fairly new to the game, and he feels like he's got to lead them around. You know, that they're not taking the initiative.
Yeah, I totally get that. And so I guess the message, the takeaway for new players, if you're watching this video, is that it's okay to be a free range D&D character. This isn't a video game, where there's defined limits to where you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Your means may be limited, but you can try pretty much anything.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate if you try something, your DM says no, but you should always be able to try. Try does not mean success.
Correct. Absolutely.
If you're like, I'm going to jump off the roof and fly, as a DM, I would say, sure, go for that.
And it's a 3-story building, so 3 dice 6 damage.
Yeah, you just bounced. Some things you're going to learn through trial and error. But yeah, why not? Interact with whatever NPCs you want to interact with. If you have something you want to do in game, why not do it?
One of the things that we've talked about, at the actual games that we run in some of our videos is like we've had an NPC where like somebody keeps going like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to that spot with the good bread.
Yeah,
and that was something that was totally done and created in our world because a player said he just envisioned it and it happened. And in a city, of course, there's some place that is going to sell that type of thing. And because it's the good one, that's the one he keeps going back to. So now there's an NPC, a shop that all gets created solely off of what, one player decided to do and then repeat.
It's really all about giving your players agency. And in this case, the DM it sounds like he's saying they have it, but they don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that too could be just as simple as a conversation before the game starts going. This is how it is, guys. You can do whatever you want. You can make things up. Here's my parameters. If you say, there's a glade with an Excalibur and a stone, he might say no to that. Or maybe he'll say yes to that. There is a sword and a stone in the glade, but you can't pull it out.
You just might not be the guy.
That could just be prefaced as saying, have I heard of a cave with a dragon, or have I heard of bandits in the woods? From the player saying this to the DM, and that could be he can either say yay or nay, or oh, you heard of one, but it's 300 miles away, so it's kind of far out of your travel range right now.
So yeah, that's an excellent point. That's a nice way of doing it from the player standpoint of without going hey if it's a question, right? It's a yes or no, right? But if you make a statement and then your DM has to go and say no, that changes things, completely, and it changes the vibe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Or he's feeling pressured into
putting this thing in,
putting things in that he doesn't really think are appropriate or doesn't want.
So as the DM of this, to Bob Smith, I would say like he needs to communicate with his players and ask like, okay, what is it that they want to do? Maybe offer up specific, quests or things that are specifically linked or tied to their characters to kind of encourage that character growth and the individual character storylines. I don't have all of the information, just what he presented us. But if it makes it more about the characters and their goals than some other arcing storyline, that it might convince the players to then expand out a little bit.
Or, what about just giving them options, right? Like, so maybe there's 3 different adventures they could kind of go on, and you present all 3 at the same time. And just by doing that, like, you're telling them there's choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And now, granted, it may be an issue for you as the DM if there are 3 completely different ideas, and now you have to, know what you're going to do depending on what path they choose. That would be one way. Another way would be just like you said, have a conversation, talk to your players, and go like, "Why do you play this game? Why are you playing this game?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to get out of this game? How do you think this game should be played? what is your inspiration when you play this game?
What about how do you see your characters evolving? Like, and avoid mechanic. Like when they say, oh well, my next level I'm thinking barbarian, and my level after that I'm thinking I'm going back to fighter. Say no. What, like, development, like get them to think like, oh well, I'd like to see this character settle down with a wife, or I want to see this character on a throne someday. So there's so many different ways that you can go that have nothing to do with the actual mechanics of the game.
That's true, and that's a good thing to do, but I don't know if it solves the problem.
I think it's too far of a stretch for people that are having issues getting to the point of going off and free ranging.
A better question would be like, you're in a town. What do you think are things that your character would do in a town or would like to do?
That's a good one.
And then when they say X, Y, or Z, we'll go, why aren't you doing that when we play?
Yeah, that's...
and they're like, oh, why aren't I doing that when I play? Like they might have in their mind that it's their job to be led around by the dungeon master from game to game, and from adventure to adventure, especially if you're running like pre-generated adventures, they might feel like the path is set and that's what they have to follow.
Right.
And maybe you're not giving enough downtime. If you say 6 months are going to pass without anything really going on, like I just did that to my players. I said, figure out what you want to do. I hope it's something besides stare at a wall.
Yeah.
Because you got 6 months to blow. What are you going to do with it? So that can be stretch out as a DM, stretch out the time between adventures. And it says, oh, do you want to pick up a new skill? You could always, maybe somebody's interested in being an apprentice blacksmith, or maybe you want to learn a new language, or to be able to talk with one of the other players more readily in a different language. So that's what I see as I see either trying to develop skills can get into role-playing encounters, trying to find new avenues for wealth creation from the player's perspective. Like, oh, well, I want to buy this new item, or I want to be able to buy an item, but I'm just don't have the cash. Like, well, over 6 months, what would I do to get more? Would I just go haul, giant sacks of flour at the bakery or the docks, or, would I do something a little more involved?
And what about side quests that aren't really quests at all? Like, for instance, in a monster's lair, you find the remains of someone, and you find their journal along with some of their belongings. And from the journal, you figure out that this guy's actually from the town that you guys are adventuring out of, right? And from the last journal entry, you see that he was on his way back home from the town, from maybe a merchant endeavor. And one of the things that he has is a doll for his daughter. And it's still intact, and his daughter never got the doll. So like this could be a thing for like one of the players might be like, oh, we could probably find this guy's family and return that to the daughter and tell them what happened.
Well, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so like it's just about putting things out there to let them know that they're part of a wider world and that they can interact with it. Give them the choices. And then again, it's going to be so after you have the out of game conversation, then you might have to lead them around a little bit, but never give them just one option. Make them pick.
Right.
Put multiple choices in front of them so they're always like, you basically a player is almost like getting a new puppy, right? Especially a new player. You got to train them a little bit. You got to show them what to do. Like
expectations.
That puppy doesn't know to go to the bathroom outside right away. He's just going to go wherever. You leave him in one spot, he'll go right in that spot. But no, you got to show him, no, this is the outdoors. This is where we do our business, and then,
we sit down at this table and we roll dice, but yes, we also talk and do other things.
Yeah. So you just got, you got to train them to do the things you want them to do in the beginning, especially if they're new players, or if they're older players that, game a different way than you do and have a different expectation. Maybe you can bring them around to your way, or at least expose them to it. But you got, that's the key thing. You have to expose them to them. You have to show them there's another way.
Right.
So that's what I got for player tips on letting your characters range.
I would say one more with the ranging concept is interaction with blacksmiths or interaction with shopkeeper. Some people see that as, oh well, that's just kind of accounting. Like, I want a new sword, I buy a new sword, and then I don't talk to him. But you can get quests from that guy that have nothing to do with going out and slaying monsters. You can find out about different intrigues within the town, within guilds, that more political, or just like, just simple things, gossip, and rumors. And that might be something I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to learn more about this because maybe it does lead somewhere. Like maybe they just say, oh, out of my own curiosity, that might actually lead to a quest some other time. But for right now, it's just interaction. And I've had sessions that were 3.5 hours long, and the only dice that were rolled was because someone just felt like rolling dice. We didn't even roll for any purpose. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm just rolling a d20 every once in a while for no reason. And that was all, interacting with a blacksmith, returning something as like a quest completion kind of thing, talking more or training with the blacksmith and doing a few other things around the town. And that was it. That's what they did the whole session. And they really liked the session, but it was kind of strange because it's like, we didn't roll any dice. But that's the kind of thing you can have. And I think exposing players to that as an option, while 3.5 hours is kind of extreme when it's your time playing, and that's it. That's all you did. But at the same time, you did a lot in that 3.5 hours. It's not, while combat is
as long as it's enjoyable and rewarding for the players.
And you've got to feel that out as the player. You've got to know what kind of signals you're sending to the GM. Are you showing him that you have no interest in this, or are you looking toward, because sitting there and not doing anything, to me as a GM, says that you're not interested, or that whatever is going on is not interesting to you. You don't want to interact. So that's and with new players, that's not what they're trying to say. They're just like, well, I don't know what to do, or
right.
I don't feel comfortable enough doing something right now.
So what do you guys think? Go ahead and put your comments down below. If you have any other tips or ideas to share while you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on nerdarchy.com.
So check us. Look on Reddit. We have conversations there.
Stuff.
Stuff.
Blah, 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 blah. Reddit. Until next time, stay nerdy.